Hello humans, today I want to talk about this guy right here. So this right here is a manual bench grinder or bench sharpener, depending on which catalog you're reading, made in Germany for the Dunlap company. So let's start off real quick with what exactly is the Dunlap company. So Sears, everybody knows the Sears catalog, they were very, very famous for a long time. Sears invented the Craftsman brand in the early 1900s. From there, what Sears did is they introduced a top-end Craftsman brand, the Craftsman Pro, and a lower Craftsman brand, the Craftsman Companion, which continued along until the 1930s. In 1937, they introduced a new brand, the Dunlap, in order to replace the low-end brand, the Companion. This started in 1937, and by 1941, all of the Companion models have been just completely phased out, replaced entirely by the Dunlap brand. So Dunlap's tools were made in either the US or in Germany. They were produced from between 1937 into the early 1950s. They had been completely phased out by 1956. But you do still get some that pop up every so often. So they did patent quite a bit of stuff in the US under it, but they didn't put any of their patent numbers on anything. So I haven't actually been able to find whatever this thing's patent number is because I don't know. I just have not been able to find Dunlap Corporation. Sears has a ton of patents for a ton of stuff, but I don't have the ability to go through it all. And Craftsman has a ton of patents for a ton of different stuff, but again, I don't have the ability to go through it all. So could not tell you what the official name of this thing is. I do know that it was the later model of their manual bench grinder. The earlier model had a round body with no flattened section, and the disc was directly above the handle. In terms of other design elements, this sharpening or guide plate actually has a notch for sharpening your drill bits on it. So you'd fit your drill bit through there, clamp this down onto a table, spin it up like so, and then using your left hand, you could rest your drill bit in this guide right here and sharpen the 2 points. I'm not entirely sure if the disc is original, but it's definitely soft and crummy enough to be. The guide plate itself works well. It is held in by this single wing nut and can be moved in and out and have the angle changed simply by loosening and then moving it manually. There's a grease nipple right here above the axle that holds the actual stone in place, which allows you to lubricate the whole system. Inside, it's very, very simple. It is 2 gears, a large one that is attached to this handle right here, and a small one which is attached to this axle. The whole thing is very, very simply clamped on to your workspace, and it's fairly secure. I used this at school for a little bit just for deburring stuff or cleaning up cuts and stuff like that out of the forge, and it worked fairly well other than the disc being really, really soft. One of the neater design elements, actually, and one of my personal favorites, is this handle right here. So, as you can see, the handle is separate from the axle that is attached to the larger gear, but there's this little lug right there, and the handle has 2 separate flat plates and 2 separate angled plates. So what you can do is you can place this little lug on the inside on one of the flat plates, which allows you to spin without slipping. And once you are done, you can just let go and it'll actually push the handle out of the way up against the flat plate so that the handle doesn't swing around and hit you as you're potentially working. The disc is able to gain quite a bit of speed because of the massive gear reduction, but at the same time, it's very, very difficult to both maintain speed and work on a project, especially seeing as how you have to do it left-handed. These Dunlap manual grinders didn't come in a right or left-handed variant. They were all done with the handle on the right side, which I imagine is one of the reasons why they didn't do so well. This thing's kind of a pain to use. It's much easier simply to use your offhand to do the brute force task. And in fact, the lugs would support doing that, but there's no mounting position for the guide plate. So you'd basically be freehanding everything. But what you can do, so you can spin it with your left hand, but then you've got very little to rest your project against as you're working. Anyways, as I was saying, you're basically forced to turn the crank with your right hand and then do all your delicate work with your left hand, which is very, very difficult, especially if you are a right-handed person, like about 90% of the population is. If you were a left-handed person, I imagine this thing would be quite a bit easier to work with, but there you go. So that's all I got for you. Stay safe and have fun out there. Peace.